Hi guys, it's Jen with Craft a Happy Home. I am here today to show you how to put together these adorable little gnomes. They are perfect for tiered trays and all sorts of places you might want to add a touch of farmhouse decor. So I sell these kits in my Etsy shop. You get a little box of supplies. It's already all cut for you. The hat is sewn, the fun fur is cut. So it's all done for you. All you need to provide is a hot glue gun and some scissors, and optionally some clear tacky glue will be helpful. So let's get into it and I will show you how to put this together. So your kit actually makes 2 gnomes, but today I'm just going to make 1 for you to show you how to do it. So you're going to get the hat that's already sewn for you and the beard. You're going to get a couple of pieces of felt to cover the gnome body. The gnome body is actually a wood spool. You're going to get his nose, and then a couple of extra pieces just to help you put them together. You're going to get a handmade pom-pom for the tip of his hat, a little embellishment, and that'll vary depending on what kit you purchase, and you're going to get some stuffing. So first things first, you want to take that wood spool and the 2 pieces of felt. So you can set everything else aside. And this is where I like to use the tacky glue. I just think that it makes the seam between the base and the body of the gnome look a little bit cleaner. But if all you have is a hot glue gun, certainly you can use that by itself. It's fine. So what I like to do is just cover one end of the wood spool completely with the clear tacky glue. And then you want to take the felt circle and press that spool into it, being careful to center it, and then just give it a press. So you're going to have the end, the bottom of your gnome is going to be that felt covered base. Next we're going to take this strip and cover the remainder of the spool for the gnome body. And again, I like to use the tacky glue so that I put a bead of glue around the edge of this raised lip right here at the bottom. Okay, and then I like to turn it over, and then you want to do a bead of glue just inside that lip at the top. Okay, and you can set that right side up, and then take your piece of felt and you want to run a bead of hot glue down the edge. Okay, flip that over and you're going to place that right up against that felt circle, and you can kind of pinch it together, and that's going to give a cleaner seam to that. So you want to make sure to press it into the tacky glue along the top and then pinch it down at the bottom. And then every so often I just like to add another line of hot glue and continue around pressing that felt into place until it's all covered all the way around. And then right at the end, I like to run a line of glue on the other edge of the felt and press that into place. And then you can go around and clean up all the strands of hot glue. And I like to go around the bottom and just give a good pinch. And then as that clear tacky glue dries, it's going to form a really nice finish down there at the bottom. Okay, so we have our gnome body covered. Now we're ready to add the head. So you want to pull out the foam ball. That's going to give a little bit of, help the hat stand up a little bit better. So you want to apply a generous bit of hot glue to the bottom of that ball and then place it right in the center of the top of that wooden spool, just like that. And then I want to note that you'll see there's a seam, hopefully you can see it, there's a seam right there where the felt ended. You want to cover that with your fun fur. So pull that out and you can kind of shake it off a little bit. It is going to shed a little bit. Flip it over to the back side and add some hot glue all the way around. And I like to put a little bit in the middle too. Grab it by the very corners, being careful not to burn yourself. And then you're going to place it over the front of the gnome. And I like to do it about maybe 3/4 of the way up the ball. And press it into place. And then you can go back and add a dab of glue to secure it at the corner a little bit better if you want. This is going to be under the hat, so it should be okay. You're not going to see the seam or anything. Okay. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to add the wooden bead for the nose. So I find it helpful to grab your scissors and you want to kind of feel like down the middle where the indentation here from where the foam ball meets the wood spool. So you can kind of feel that with your hand, and that's the indentation where you're going to put the nose. So I like to kind of use my scissors to make a spot. I kind of use my scissors to comb the fur out of the way so that there's a little spot right there where I can stick that wood bead for the nose. And I kind of look at the wood bead and see if there's a spot that might be less, maybe it has a flaw, and that'll be the spot I put glue on and stick to the back. So just add a little dab of glue and stick the nose into place, just like that. Okay, now we are going to put the hat on the gnome. Now I like to add a little bit of stuffing to the hat. You don't have to add very much, and you certainly don't have to add everything that came in the kit. I just take a little tiny wad of it and stick it up in the hat. And that's going to sit right on top of the ball just to help the hat stick up a little bit more. Okay, you want this back sewn seam to go to the back of the gnome. So the first place I glue is around the nose. So I make a bead of glue like about halfway down the side, over the top, and halfway down to the other side. And I find it helpful to kind of smooth the fun fur back and hold it back out of place so you don't get glue all over the place. Okay, and then you want to stick the hat down and kind of pull it around the nose and hold that for a few seconds while it sets up. That's going to help hold the nose in place too. And you can kind of push that fur back down towards the foam ball. So now the next thing you want to do is secure the hat into place. So I try to push the fur out of place, and I run a line of hot glue all around the top of that spool. And then very carefully pull the hat down over top of it, trying not to get hot glue all over the place. Just like that. Okay. The next thing I like to do is give the fur a trim. So it's going to be a little bit longer, and you can certainly keep it that length and just kind of let it sit and fan out if you like, but I like to make it a little bit closer to the base. So I just take my scissors and give them a haircut, and I kind of taper it up on the ends. And you can cut it as short as you'd like. And I kind of like the messy look. You can take a comb to his fur and kind of neaten it up a little bit if you'd like, but you don't have to. Just like that. And then push that fur or the stuffing down a little bit. And we've got two more things to add. So there's a little pom-pom I've included for the tip of his hat. So you want to kind of make just an indentation in the pom-pom. Just kind of poke your finger into it and make an indentation and add a little bit of hot glue. And then you're going to stick the pom-pom into the end of the hat. And you can kind of push that yarn back up against the hat to secure it. And then the last thing you're going to add is whatever embellishment. Some of the embellishments included in the kits are buttons, you might get a flower or a butterfly. It all depends on which kit you purchased. So this particular one, I'm adding a little daisy to him. It has this little stem on the bottom that I just like to clip off because it adds bulk that you don't really need. So I tend to make the hat flop to one side and then I put the embellishment on the other. So just add a generous amount of hot glue to the bottom and put the embellishment in place. And there you have it, a quick and easy little gnome. I hope you have enjoyed this tutorial and you have fun making your kit. And if you have any questions, please let me know. I'll be happy to answer any questions you might have.